asked people in my, my friends and family, I'm thinking about maybe going and working in restaurants. And they were like, are you mad? Like, don't do that. In order for the food to do the talking, a white tablecloth is really the perfect canvas. Fill it full of lovely people and lovely food, and it kind of comes alive. And I just became obsessed with the Queen performance at Live Aid. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I hate the word easy listening. I was out myself as a massive loser. I don't know anything about wine. If you've enjoyed cooking it, it comes through in the way you talk about it, and the way you serve it, the lead up to the dinner, if it's fun and you're like relaxed.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tables to Talk About. Today I'm chatting with Ben Lippett, who I'm sure a lot of you already follow, but for those of you who don't, he is a cook, food writer, recipe developer and co-founder of Dr. Sting's Hot Honey, which is delicious by the way. Having spent years in various restaurants across the UK, US and Australia, Ben made the leap into food media, working at Mob Kitchen for a while and now hosting dinners, writing recipes or putting together his amazing Substack, How I Cook, which is a weekly newsletter he explains as a chef's guide to really good home cooking. Had a lot of fun recording this one, so if you enjoy it, please remember to leave us a little review or share the episode with a friend you think might love it too. It's helping us so much with bringing you new guests every week. Right, let's get into it. So how did you get into food in the first place?
I reckon it was probably 70% necessity and 30% desire. Because I suppose going back to when I was at university now, I needed a job. And I worked in cafes and I worked in a little falafel shop in Brighton called We Love Falafel for the heads, because I know there's a lot of fans of that place. I moved to New York. I went to school in Brooklyn for a little while. That was in 2015. The rent in New York was extremely high. Lower than it is now probably, but it was unbelievably expensive. And my student loan didn't cover it, didn't even come close. So I needed a job that was cash in hand because my visa didn't let me work. So I ended up going to work at a restaurant. Well, because I say restaurant, it was kind of like a posh cocktail bar that did food, and ended up going and getting a job there because they'd pay me cash in hand, and then really kind of fell in love with the whole game. Kind of the culture, working with my hands was a really exciting thing that I'd never really done before. I was quite young. I mean, I was 21, and it was exciting because, in New York, in hospitality, there's a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, and it was just like fun. It was really fun, and I ended up going to work more than I did school. And figured, maybe I should try this. So then came back to the UK, and then just like, although I asked people in my, my friends and family, I'm thinking about maybe once I graduate, maybe going and working in restaurants. And they were like, are you mad? Like, don't do that. No, you've just done a degree in American history. You're going to go be a chef. So that's what I did. Yeah. Then I worked in restaurants for, years and years after that. Went to Australia, was in New York for a bit, and then London, and cooked in Brighton for a long time. The rest is history.
Amazing. I love it when people kind of fall into what they do. I think it's really nice.
It is nice. It has more of a, for want of a better word, a kind of destiny aspect to it, I suppose. Because
what will be, will be.
Yeah.
There's no way to avoid it.
You didn't choose food chose you,
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about hosting? Do you like being the host?
Yeah, I really, really enjoy it. It's a very seasonal thing for me, though, I think. I am all over it from the month of May until maybe September, October, and then I'm like, leave me alone. I'll go out to eat, but yeah, I mean, very much a summer endeavor for me. But I love it. I love hosting.
Is that because you like the hosting outside element? Is it the weather? Summer in general?
Summer cooking lends itself to hosting way, way more than winter food, or kind of the food that you would eat when it's cold. Whenever I host, I like to feed people things to share and for everything to be quite communal and relaxed, and ideally outside, beautiful summer's evening, cooking over charcoal or over wood or doing things outside. I just take such pleasure in, and it's impossible to do it in the winter. So, I'm bound to the summer. Yeah, just getting people outside in the garden, can't beat it.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's nothing better than alfresco dining.
No way. I mean, even, not even just at home. I mean, if I go to a restaurant and there's a table outside and it's not Baltic or raining, then I'm like, I would love to sit right there.
That's my table.
Please.
I guess the only thing that you can't do in summer that is nice hosting wise in winter is a roast. I think.
I mean, I don't like roasts very much.
Do you not?
So I don't really mind about that. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose that's not true. I like roasting things, and I like roasted foods. I don't really enjoy a conventional roast dinner or Sunday dinner. I don't know. It just doesn't do it. Just doesn't do it for me, because I think most of them are bad. Obviously, they have such a place in people's hearts, and it's a very nostalgic thing to eat. But I think for me, it just doesn't really tick the kind of boxes that I'm looking for. And ordinarily, it's kind of the only thing you'll eat that day, and it's usually so mid, and they just taste like gravy, and I'm over it. I'm out.
Well, maybe if you did one, it would be great. You just have to put your own spin on it.
Oh, but God, I mean, imagine. Oh, I only eat my own roasts.
People be like, all right then.
I mean, it's like that and fish and chips are my two most controversial food takes. I'm just not a massive fan.
Like the two most British things
I know.
ever.
Yeah, I know. I know it's terrible. My partner absolutely hates it because she loves both of those things deeply. I do like fish. I love chips. I mean, we'll probably get onto this later because I love serving them. But
wouldn't be your go-to.
Enough offending the nation. Let's move on.
Straight off the bat.
Oh God.
We got that out of the way. Okay, so where you said you love eating outside, where would you be hosting your dream dinner party?
Probably in my garden. I think I love cooking. I mean, I do a lot of cooking in my garden. It's a beautiful little spot. It's a nice little sun trap. It's personal, and it is at home. I think hosting, obviously, I did do dinners and supper clubs and stuff like that, and that is, in its own way hosting. But I feel like the best hosting for me is when you're hosting friends, family at your home. And so yeah, for me, it's got to be the garden. Got to be the garden.
Yeah.
And that means I can use a pizza oven or a barbecue or something fun.
More options.
More fun to be had.
We're in your garden.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the table? Are you into a bit of tablescaping, a bit of table styling?
I like things to be very, very clean, whether it be at home or at a restaurant. Anywhere I'm eating, I just don't like too much fuss. I like things to be very, very clean, not very much colour. I'm a big advocate of white plates, white tablecloth. In order for the food to do the talking, which is very much what I'm about, I think a white tablecloth is really the perfect canvas to pop down any number of delicious things. That is what you're looking at. I feel like this opinion is born out of the fact that I'm probably not very good at tablescaping. I never have been, because I've always been in the back of the restaurant cooking. The food is the main focus. Maybe do you know what? I maybe would have a few little accents, maybe like a nice long, it's like a dining candle in like a nice little stand.
Any particular colour there, or we sticking with white?
White, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like it's quite chic as well, which I think is, obviously I'm always going for that. I'm in the process at the moment of planning my wedding, and my partner and we're getting married in is essentially a very, very white room. It's just like a white, kind of very large white box. It's beautiful. It's right on the ocean. One room, it's lovely, but it's serving this kind of principle of just like white.
I love that though. I love a blank canvas space that you can do what you want with.
You fill it full of lovely people and lovely food, and it kind of comes alive. But we are having kind of dotted around as these very simple glass vases with just single flowers in them that are pops of colour everywhere. So that would be quite nice. I'd probably pop that on the table. Very much a less is more approach, I think.
Let the food do the talking, why not? Do you have like things that you will pull out if you're having people round, like special things? Or are you like, we use the same things for everything, we're not precious about anything?
I live in London, and I have quite a small flat. I don't have an enormous amount of space for kind of like special china or silverware. Yeah. So no, and it really is. I mean, I just like to, we have quite a small, quite, curated selection of plates and cutlery and glassware and stuff like that. I mean, I have to do kind of periodical trips to the charity shop just to make sure that everything is, we're not getting too busy. But the thing is, I don't really have any like sets of anything, because in my job I really look at it like kind of like collecting props. So I do a lot of photo work and video. And I quite like that. I think it's quite charming. And it also gives you such versatility with, plating different dishes. If you have, a beautiful silver platter and then also a slightly smaller white oval ceramic. And then, you have a few, I think we've probably got, 10 to 15 different things you could pop in the middle that all would serve a different purpose and just give different shapes on the table. They work pretty hard. I mean, so we use those day to day. I don't really have the kind of anything super special. There are some things that don't see action too often. I mean, on Friday I had some friends over for dinner, and I barbecued a massive steak, which is something I very rarely do at home, because we don't really eat much meat, because my partner doesn't eat meat. So it's a real kind of real
Special
rarity.
occasion.
And I served it in this. I've got a very fancy oval by a company called Mauviel, which is a lovely French cookware brand, and it was very restauranty. I served this barbecued T-bone in a big Mauviel oval covered in jus. It was beautiful. But yeah, that was a rare treat. So yeah, maybe you break out stuff like that, but for the most part, we just use our everydays because we're proud of them.
Table is set. Who are you inviting? Who's coming round?
Friends, I suppose.
Yeah, you can have friends.
Always friends. I mean, whoever's about, really. I'll cook for anyone. Do you want me to talk about dead, alive, and famous?
Yeah, please.
Or fictional? What should we start with? Should we start with alive?
Let's start with alive, yeah.
I suppose I was thinking about this question, and I wanted to kind of create a slightly odd table dynamic, because I feel like, it's rare that you get to actually pick who comes round based on, like, I want someone really funny, and I want someone who's a bit strange or a bit out there. So I was thinking about that, and I think the person who makes me laugh the most in the world is a man called Matt Berry. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a comedian. He's very funny. He's been dotted around in lots of TV shows, but he has one of his own called Toast of London, which is a incredibly goofy, kind of surreal show about a kind of failing actor in London who's very eccentric and very old-fashioned and just so funny. The reason I'm not inviting Stephen Toast rather than Matt Berry, because the two are, I mean, that Stephen Toast is the person he plays in the show, is because I think that they're quite close in reality. I don't think he's that far off Stephen Toast. I hope he doesn't hear that. I don't know how much he'd thank me for that. But I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the world that makes me laugh quite as much as that man. So
I've just looked him up so I could have a visual.
He's also he's a very cool man. He makes music. He has many strings to his bow. He's very cool. So I'll have Matt Berry over. That'd be lovely.
Who are you inviting? Who's your dead?
My dead is Freddie Mercury, big Queen fan. Not ashamed to say it. And yeah, I mean, I went through this real phase of being obsessed with Live Aid.
Okay.
which sounds really funny. Well, and I just became obsessed with the Queen performance at Live Aid. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I still do. I still think it's absolutely
incredible.
Piece
you
of
can't
rock and roll history. You can't. It's amazing. I mean, what a cool guy. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'd love to have him. Imagine that, having dinner with him. Unreal. I mean, I don't know much, I can't imagine what we talk about, but we'd figure it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything you'd want to ask him?
Well, I'd ask him to sing a song after dinner.
Yeah, 100%. You can't miss an opportunity like that.
I have to rent a piano and put it in the garden so he could belt some out for us.
Get the karaoke machine out.
Oh yeah.
So we've got dead, alive. Who's your fictional?
I think I'm probably going to invite Tony Soprano round for tea, because I think of all the fictional people I can think of, he's one of the people that I've seen eat the most. The guy who played Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, is lauded as kind of the master of eating on camera. Because I don't know, have you ever seen the show?
Yeah, bits, but not.
He manages to go through 10 seasons of that show in scenes where he's supposed to be eating and not eat a single bite of food. He's just kind of like pushing things around his plate and kind of talking and then pushing a bit more. And he's only ever eating two things. It's like he's only ever eating, or maybe three. He's only ever eating gabagool, which is this kind of semi-fictional version of copper, or like a cured meat. It's either that, leftover pasta, or some food in his friend Artie's restaurant. And I just think it would be very cool to feed Tony Soprano. Actually see him eat.
Clearly it's something other than those things.
Exactly. Maybe feed him, I don't know, a curry, or just anything else. I'd love to see him eat, a baked Alaska. It's quite dude heavy, I know, but we'll go with it.
That's okay. It's your dream dinner. How do you think the dynamic would be with them and then with your friends?
Oh, my friend's there as well.
Yeah, you can have your friends too.
Oh, God, wow. Well, I'm going to be busy. That's a lot of people to feed. It'd be unbelievably weird. I feel like it'd be good crack, though. Yeah, Matt Berry would keep it moving. I don't know what. Well, in my dreams, we'll find out. I'll let you know.
Okay, what music? Do you have a go-to music a go-to music? That's not good English.
I think music is an essential part of any kind of communal dining experience. I mean, I find it quite hard to go through my life without listening to music. Music's quite a big part of my life. And as part of the newsletter that I write every week, I always write about an album that I've been listening to. And sometimes try and kind of pair, not, food and music pairing sounds incredibly pretentious. But I suppose it's more kind of the vibe of a recipe, or if you're doing some baking, you don't want to be listening to like thrash metal, you just want to sometimes you do, maybe if you're grilling something, or I don't know. There's a music for every mood. But yeah, it's a big part of hosting for us. I cooked at Wilderness Festival this year, and it was this was actually quite it was like a really amazing opportunity to pair music and food, because I did a dinner, and whilst dinner was being served, I booked a band I really loved to come and play. They're a band called Kit Sebastian, who are based in London, but the two folks who kind of head it up are respectively from France or have kind of French heritage and Turkey. So it's like French Turkish, and it's reflected in the music. It's like kind of like really jazzy, kind of, I hate the word easy listening. I'm not going to say shocking. It's like really jazzy. I know. I say that. Kit Sebastian, look them up. They're absolutely amazing. But they're a fantastic example of the kind of music that I would put on, because you don't it doesn't really demand your full attention, in the same way that, I don't know, something more kind of front person heavy would. Like, you can put it on and appreciate the kind of like, it's very like lush, full music, but would kind of like furnish the kind of vibe of a dinner really, really well. So something that isn't grabbing the attention, but is band Krangbin are a kind of great example of this. I mean, they kind of became the soundtrack to coffee shop across the world. But it's like they fit the bill perfectly, because it's just like good vibe setting music. There's like not heaps of lyrics, just like a groove,
No distractions.
It's really important. And also it's fun depending on who you're having over, to really think about what they might like and maybe tailor it around that. I mean, my partner works in music, and kind of books bands for a living. So she usually, 9 times out of 10 will take the wheel when it comes to this kind of stuff. But we both take pleasure in kind of figuring it out. Yeah, it's
a good combo then, you two.
Yeah, I feel like the level of expectation is quite high when people come back for dinner, because they're like, oh shit,
lot of pressure.
Yeah, the food better be good, and then hopefully Lou puts some good music on.
Yeah. Yeah, she can do the atmosphere and you can do the food, and then you come together and enjoy it together. Okay, that was a really good segue into food. What are you going to be serving at your dream dinner? You can do food and drink at the same time, if that makes sense for you.
I like to treat it almost like a little restaurant. I think usually because that's kind of how, obviously that's how I kind of cooked for the last 8, 9, 10 years. So I feel like that's really what I like. That's the kind of format I like to follow. So we like to start with like a drink to begin with, sometimes a cocktail, vermouth and tonic. Just trying to keep things as simple as possible. So like vermouth and tonic is always a winner for us. A delicious thing to drink, and you just mix two things. Absolute stunner. Big slice of orange. I agree.
It's a great starter.
It's great. Either that or something fizzy. Lou loves sparkling wine, so some sparkling wine would be delicious. Or if we're feeling really fancy, maybe a martini. But then again, it depends on how many people are coming over. Like, I don't want to make martinis for like 10 people.
It's also a dangerous start.
Oh, but a perfect start. It's so nice. I feel like they are lethal. I can drink heaps of them, but they get me. What kind of martini?
It's hard to go downhill from a martini. It only goes up. I quite like a dirty martini.
Same. Gin or vodka?
Vodka.
Same. Nice. I like to have that one at the top. If I have another one later, I can't have. It's just like, it's too many like salty drinks. It's a lot. So like a nice.
It's a lot.
Twist.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
I was gonna say only. You drink them in, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't have too many of them.
Oh yeah, I'd drink them forever if I could. We start off with something like that, and then I like to do things to share. I mean, I feel like one of the greatest mistakes people make when they have people around for dinner or lunch or whatever is to try and plate things up individually. Yeah. I think maybe because that's what they imagine people in restaurants are doing, or they think it's impressive, or to do like a little swoosh on a plate or like make it really fancy. Whereas I feel like what sometimes people forget is that in restaurants there are an army of people putting little things on plates and you just don't need to do it. I mean,
no. And you want to be having fun with your guests.
Yeah, you
not swooshing things on plates.
No. So I always like to do things to share, and to start, I always like to serve bread that is very warm with some lovely butter or olive oil, but I'd say 9 times out of 10, some nice butter. And then just a few things to share. I usually have something raw, whether it would be fish. Loving serving raw fish at the moment at home, or kind of like a chopped tartare is really, really nice. Something to kind of eat with the bread is delicious. And then something warm. So that might be something fried, or like a little croquette, or I don't know, some fried seafood, or frito misto, perhaps a fried vegetable that I can just quickly do, because the raw thing's done, easy. Bread's done, that's easy. You buy it, or you can make it if you like. But
yeah, also you can't go wrong with something fried, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice way to start. It's a nice way to start any meal. It's something, crispy and salty and fatty.
Just came back from Spain yesterday. Basically ate my body weight in chupitos, which are like those little like fried octopus tentacle, like the mini baby.
Oh, the little baby ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's so good.
It's a bit hectic though, isn't it? When you get like a whole cone of them and you're like, wow. It's a lot of it's a lot of little squid in there.
I'm like, I need to chill out.
No, they're stunning. No, I love Spain. One of my favorite places to eat in the world. I feel like it's so underrated in a way. Yeah, love.
I think if you like picky food and like sharing food, it's perfect, isn't it? Because have a little bit of that, and then you just keep going until you're full.
I was in Andalusia earlier in the year. I went on a trip to learn about sherry in Jerez, and it was absolutely stunning. It was absolutely incredible. I came back a massive sherry convert. Maybe I'll serve some sherry in my to Freddie and Man.
Add to the menu.
So yeah, I mean, something raw, something vegetable heavy. So like maybe a nice little salad, not kind of like a green salad or something you'd sell on the side, but something that kind of really celebrates an ingredient, or a vegetable. Maybe in summer, tomatoes is an easy win. Everyone loves a good tomato salad. And yeah, something fried. I mean, I feel like just a few little bits. You don't want to go overboard, but just a few really thoughtful, delicious plates. You can you can do most of it in advance. You can serve it to share, and above all, that it's seasonal. That it's, and it makes sense for where you are and when you're cooking. I think it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in.
We'll just carry on with the sharing. I mean, I have an amazing fishmonger near me in southeast London, and I just love.
I'm in southeast London.
Oh, are you?
Great place to be.
The fishmonger is called FC Soper, and it's on Evelina Road in Nunhead. Jason, who owns it, is a good pal, and I just love going there in the morning of whenever I'm cooking for people. I'll go there in the morning and just say, right, I've got 6 people coming, or I've got 4 people coming, and then we'll just have a chat about what he's got. And so it really is a bit of a gamble, because sometimes he hasn't got nothing, and I've got to wing it a bit.
Shit.
But it's a really fun way to do it. So I'll go in and maybe he's got a beautiful line caught bass that came in that morning. I'm like, stunning, I'll grab that. Again, it's really just about focusing on one thing, making that really, really, really delicious, and having fun with it, because I feel like I really like to cook things for friends that I enjoy cooking, because I feel like you can feel it when it hits the plate and the table, and ultimately when people eat it, if you've enjoyed cooking it, I just think it comes through in the way you talk about it, and the way you serve it, and the lead up to the dinner if it's fun and you're like relaxed. So I usually we'll grab something from Jason, barbecue it or roast it in the oven, in the pizza oven with wood so it's smoky, and then serve it with something really, really simple. So I'll do a sauce or some kind of stuffed fish is a beautiful thing. I love doing that. Or you just serve it with a shitload of butter and lemon and herbs, and you just can't go wrong. You really can't. I'm quite simple, I suppose, in that regard, that a piece of grilled fish is my favorite thing to eat in the world. And and it's something that people don't really cook at home, which I think is a shame. People seem to be so afraid of doing it, but it's really easy. So yeah, that, and then some kind of carb. So maybe a chip. I'm a massive advocate for oven chips. I think oven chips are brilliant. McCain's, I love you. And then a salad, a green salad.
Not sponsored by McCain's, but would love to be.
No, not. Send the check. And a simple green salad with lots of herbs in it. I could eat that for the rest of my life. Which I was dissing fish and chips at the top of the podcast, but that's what I'm serving.
It's a take.
It's a take, yeah.
It's also you got the fresh bit, you've got the comforting bit. It's a great mix.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll go with that. I think it's a delicious thing. There are so many different ways you can go with it, which is really nice. And then for dessert, delicious. What are we having for dessert? Oh, I'd probably just serve some wine with that. Some nice cold white wine. Delicious. Do
you have a go-to or a preference?
God, what a minefield.
Sorry.
The pressure on. I'm going to out myself as a massive loser. I don't know anything about wine. Do you know, I'm going to serve some sherry with it. Some Fino sherry.
Okay, yeah.
Which is absolutely beautiful with seafood. There's one called Coquinera, which is or coquinero, which means little clams, and it's from, and it has this amazing salinity. You serve it chilled. It's just delicious, absolutely stunning. So I'll serve that with it. Dessert I love. It's something that I used to make in restaurants when I worked on pastry sections. Is a sweet tart. Is probably one of the most amazingly fulfilling things I think you can make in the kitchen. And I reckon of all of the things on the menu, that would probably take up the most time and would probably be the one that I cared about the most. It'd be like really, I think, you know, the amount of time I spent trying to make tarts that would pass the inspection of my head chef when I was working in restaurants, and the kind of anxiety that it would, and I'm still trying to master them.
Yeah, perfect.
So, yeah, you know, something like a lemon tart, or we've got a lovely recipe for a creme fraiche tart, which is stunning.
Ooh, that sounds
or like
good.
a lemon, really nice. Yeah, that has that amazing kind of sour, fermenty. It's kind of like almost like sour cream. It's like a nice, like lactic-y, funky, and you pair that with lots of sugar and vanilla, and it's lovely. Maybe with what are we having for? Do you drink? Yeah, maybe drink some dessert wine with that. A little Muscat, lovely.
I'm not a big dessert wine fan.
Oh no, really? Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm a big fan.
It's too sweet for me, I think.
I've got a massive sweet tooth, which I feel like is getting worse as I get older. There was a period in summer where I would have a Magnum every day on the sofa.
I think that's okay.
And I was like, this has got to stop. This has to stop.
This has become a routine. And it's honestly, dangerous.
It was like Tuesday night and we'd just eaten dinner, and then I was like going to the freezer, and Lou was like, no, you've eaten them all. There's none left. I was like, oh no. I was like, actually really upset.
Yeah, that happens easily though. When you've got them in the freezer and you know they're in the freezer, you just eat them until they're no longer in the freezer.
And then, you know, more turn up, and then you just eat more.
Then it's part of the weekly food shop.
I've managed to break the cycle now, which is good. Really good.
As we enter September.
Yeah, so it'll just be crumble every night from now on.
You'll have to get some vanilla ice cream instead to put on the top.
Oh no, don't, because I will.
You just put a winter twist on your usual ice cream. Oh, okay, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, it's like it has the kind of, it's masquerading as quite a fancy meal, but really it's all incredibly simple and very, very easy. Very, very easy to pull off, you know. The ingredient list is quite short.
We're all round the table. We've eaten a full meal. What, if anything, are you doing for entertainment? Do you like to have anything at the end of a dinner?
Entertainment? I mean, I don't know.
It's very open for interpretation, entertainment, I think.
I like to think that the conversation will be, you know, scintillating enough that we won't really need to put on any airs. Often we'll, if we have people over for dinner, we're so drunk by the time we finish dinner that we're just kind of chatting rubbish and having a laugh. I mean, I think that's it, just for people just to be relaxed is the goal. Entertainment, we've got the music on, we're doing the food. Do you know what? In a kind of funny way, I like to cook outside also because people feel more involved in what's going on. So that in a way, 100%. I suppose, is entertainment, because if you feel like, you know, the barbecue's going and people are like wandering around and chatting, and we do take quite large breaks in between courses. If we're doing like starters, we might have like half an hour in between where we just like have some drinks and chat, and then we'll walk over and like do some cooking and then come back, and there's always something going on. I mean, I feel like we try not to be too kind of self-conscious in like planned fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Try and have it be a bit more organic.
I guess some people like, rather than having something planned, it's like where your dinner ends up. So like you say, like ends up in just mostly conversation, or sometimes people like to pull out a game. Or those kind of things.
I think if it's for a bigger group, we've ended up having karaoke in our living room until like the early hours of the morning after.
Yeah, I believe that is the best way to end a dinner party.
So fun. Oh yeah, I mean, it depends on the vibe. Sometimes I live.
You don't want to get karaoke out if no one wants to sing.
No, come on, guys.
Just everyone watching you do karaoke.
I'll do Queen at Live Aid. Watch. We also have
in front of Freddie Mercury. Brave.
Oh, you bet. No, we'll do a duet. Perfect. We have a great selection of pubs near us as well. So sometimes we'll just like create this, you know, massive mess and be like, right, come on, up we get. We'll leave that, and then we'll decamp somewhere else. and just go and do a little tour of the neighborhood, take them to the
Yeah.
nice wine bar, go to the pub.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Nice.
because then you're like hosting out and about as well, which is
Yeah,
always fun.
totally. Yeah, and then you can leave all the mess for later.
Yeah.
You don't
And
have to
come back
feel
to
like you
that.
need to tidy things away while people are still
Yeah, and
chatting and you're gonna miss out.
people are always so polite and let me clean up, let me like no, hard no. Never allow your guests to clean up anything. Is my take anyway.
Unless someone's staying over and then they can help the next day.
Nah, not even then. You invited them over. It's on you.
True, true. Okay, amazing. So we're ending at the pub.
Yeah, I feel like the pubs near me are so brilliant. It's just good crack. I feel like it's where better a place to end the night. I'm thinking of Skian's pub in Nunhead.
Yeah, there are some great pubs in Nunhead.
Yeah, we got some good ones. I live really close to one called the Ivy House, which is
Okay.
fantastic. Skian's as well is brilliant. There's usually well, karaoke is quite a regular fixture at Skian's. All there's like trad music going on, or
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's always something going on there. I've never had a bad
Mhm.
night there, so that's usually where I end up.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, I've got some quick fire questions for you to end on.
Okay, hit me.
Something you always have in the cupboard.
Something I always have in the cupboard is probably hot honey. I have a hot honey business, and I've got I love it, and it's funny because I thought we've had it for what 3 years now, and I thought I
Has
got
it been
surely at
3
some point.
years? Wow.
I think it has, yeah. Or it'll be 3 years this year. It's like, one day I'll get bored of this.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see that day. I've always got a little bottle of Dr. Stings knocking around. Yeah, love it.
Side note from the quickfire questions, not so quickfire. How did that come about? When did you decide to make Dr. Stings a thing?
That was another thing that was born out of New York, actually. I mean, I
Okay.
living in New York went to eat. Obviously, pizza is pretty big there. So
Mm.
I went to a lot of pizzerias, and one in particular in a place called Crown Heights. There's a neighborhood called Barboncino, and they had a pizza that they served a little pot of honey, and I'd never seen anything like that. And they plonked it down and put this little thing of honey next to it. And I was like, what's that for? They're like, pour it on your pizza, and I did, and I was like, wow, amazing, mind blown. And then I came back to the UK and was like, right, that honey was really good. Tried to find someone doing it, no one was really doing it. So I kind of sat on the idea for years because I was trapped in restaurant kitchens. And then left, and then was like, oh, go on, then we'll give this a go. Then tested the recipe for a while and got it out there.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really fun little kind of like side gig. I have my business partner Jamie. He's a really good mate. I've known him for years and years. He's a graphic designer, so I kind of took care of the food bit, and then he did the design. And now we run it together, and it's just how we just have a blast. It's so fun.
Love that. So fun. Sweet or savoury?
Oh my god, savoury.
It's tough. It's really tough.
That's really hard. Yeah, savoury.
You were just talking about how much you like sweet things.
I know. I feel like I've just betrayed I just betrayed myself from 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a really hard question, and again, one of those ones that you can kind of sway on day to day, depending on the mood.
Think if it's one for the rest of my life, it has to be savoury.
Agree. Favorite condiment? Oh,